In today's special podcast episode, Tamara will share her tinnitus success story. Listen to this, it's one of my favorites of all time. My name is Dr. Ben Thompson, audiologist with Treble Health. Subscribe below to the Treble Health podcast. Let's get ahead with Tamara's incredible story of hope, optimism, and tinnitus recovery. Tamara, welcome to the Treble Health podcast. Tell us how your story with tinnitus began.
My story began in March of this year. Woke up one morning and had this really intense ringing in my ears. It was really high-pitched, really loud. I had no idea what it was or why it was happening. I got in to see a couple of doctors, a couple of ENTs, and found out that it was tinnitus. I'd never heard of it before, didn't know anybody that had it. And basically, I was told there's nothing we can do to help you. It just is what it is. It'll go away with time. We don't know when that will be or how long it's going to take you, but there's no pill we can give you. There's no surgery that will help you. You're just going to have to live with it. And that to me kind of felt like a death sentence. I was like, there is no way I could live the rest of my life with this noise. So for me, I kind of did a little bit of everything. I dipped my foot in every pool possible, just trying to figure out what worked for me. And that included acupuncture, chiropractor, massage, cranial therapy, everything all at the same time. Eventually, what I whittled it down to for me was there's a pain clinic where I live here. And because I later found out that my tinnitus is somatic, there's a lot of issues in my jaw, my neck, my shoulders. So I do acupuncture, massage on my jaw, laser acupuncture, and I basically have to try to keep myself stress-free. It's not a snap of a finger and it just goes away, but it kind of helps to manage my stress, which helps to manage the tinnitus. And then I found you guys, and that was a huge game changer for me.
So everyone wants to know, how loud is your tinnitus? How loud was your tinnitus? Tell us about how the volume and the perceived intensity changed over time.
Well, in the beginning, it was pretty much a 9 or 10 out of 10. It was just this screaming, high-pitched, intense sound. I don't know how else to describe it. It was horrendous. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't get out of bed. It was debilitating. It affected everything, my relationships, my job. But with the help of Treble Health and the cognitive behavioral therapy paired with the sound therapy, now I would say on my bad days, I'm somewhere around a 6 or 6.5. And on my good days, I'm somewhere around a 4.
And what we know is that the habituation process, the brain's natural ability to reduce tinnitus over time, it's not a quick and it's not an easy treatment, but it is the best treatment that works for most kinds of tinnitus. How did you take that knowledge that you acquired over time of there is a way forward? This isn't a permanently broken part of my brain or my ears, that there is some hope to get better. What were those key lessons that you learned over the months working with us and taking that responsibility and that ownership of your own health by doing other things to complement working with us?
I mean, even gaining the knowledge that there was help. I mean, first of all, you feel some sort of relief that you're not going to have to live with this thing forever. But then when you get into it and you realize that it's not something that's going to happen overnight, frustration sets in, because you're like, you want this thing to be gone. You don't want to live with it. But sorry, my cat.
It's okay.
But
We welcome cats here at Treble Health. And I think it adds to the podcast, showing that, Tamara, you're a real person. You're living
yeah.
at home, you have animals, and you had to deal with this incredibly challenging health condition. Go back to what you were saying, that what were those resources and the mental tools, right, that helps you get through this?
Oh man, there's so many. It really is about trying to focus. You have to focus your thoughts. You have to get past the noise. And sometimes that noise can feel physical, like you feel like your ears hurt. You have to focus on something else. You have to calm yourself down. For me, I did a lot of writing on my mirror in the bathroom, and I wrote specifically in my bathroom because it was somewhere I had to be every day. And I would write notes to myself like, your tinnitus is not going to control your life. Your tinnitus is not going to be here forever. There will be bad days, but there will also be good days. I did things like that. I leave the house and I take a walk. On days where it's really bad, I just put my shoes on and I get outside and I walk. I take some deep breaths, get some fresh air, maybe put a podcast in, something else to focus my ears on. Also, having a support system. I have my family, I have my amazing friends, I have people around me who support me with everything, whether it's coming over to help me with the kids when I'm having a bad day and I just can't do it. So I think having that support that enables me to do those things that I need to do for myself is huge.
What's the wisdom you've learned over these months and over this time? If there's someone else in your shoes who might be in week one, month two, what are the things that they should do, at least in your experience, right? Because every tinnitus is unique. So
Yeah.
you can only speak from your experience of this is
Yeah.
what worked for me. But let's go into that. What did work for you? And now looking back, what might have been a waste of time or just an experiment that didn't really change your tinnitus in any positive way?
I think I went down that rabbit hole of supplements and, all these things that people, because I didn't know that tinnitus is not necessarily an issue with my physical ear. So I did a lot of things that definitely didn't work. The supplements and, the acupuncture and stuff that just didn't work for me. But one thing that really, really helped me, and it may not work for everybody, I got this little book, went to the dollar store, got a little book. From day one, I wrote down, I just 1 to 10, this is how bad it is today. And when I'm having a really bad day, I look back at 2 months ago to see what it was. And I'm like, man, I haven't written down an 8 in a really long time. So as bad as it is right now, it was so much worse 2 months ago. Like, it kind of puts things in perspective. And in the beginning, I think the most important thing to know is that you're not going to be in that same place forever. It is going to get better. So whatever you're feeling is valid, but your tinnitus will change. It will get quieter. It will get less intense. It will get less intrusive. And your life can go back to normal. It can.
Let's go into the details of when you reached out to us and the services or the tools or the technologies that you actually use and that looking backwards seem like they helped you reduce your levels of tinnitus. Your story shows us that, hey, even improving this 40% in this time frame is a win. No,
Yeah.
you're not done, and no, you're
Yeah.
not content with this being your new baseline forever. We
Yeah.
still want it to get better, but over this time, you've shown you can improve it a significant percentage. And realistically, it probably wouldn't have gotten that much better if it was just you on your own, right?
For sure.
So talk to us about reaching out to us using telehealth, using the service or the device, and how that helps you over time.
Well, I found Treble Health, first of all, because my husband bought me a pair of earbuds and it came with a subscription to Odo. And that's how I found Treble Health. And I discovered that there was a service where you could have counseling, you could have help, you could have one on one therapy, I call it, with somebody that's knowledgeable in tinnitus and what it takes to habituate. So I got paired up with an audiologist, and Tracy has changed my life. She met me as a puddle. I was just a mess every time we talked. And I feel like she's the one that has given me all of these tools. She's taught me how to get my mind to focus on other things than the noise. But more than that, she introduced me to these maskers. They're like little hearing aids, I call them. Basically, based on my hearing test, they programmed the maskers for me to play sound therapy. One of the problems that I was having was that using regular earbuds hurt my ears. For the amount of time that I had to listen to the sound therapy for it to be effective, it just wasn't working for me. The maskers, I pop them in the morning, I leave them in for 6, 8 hours. And with the sound therapy, it's basically giving your brain something else to listen to besides the tinnitus. And that has been a complete game changer. That's, I think, been the biggest push forward for me.
Did they provide immediate relief as well as this trend of shifting your tinnitus down?
100%. 100%.
Before you used them, what had you tried previously for sound therapy?
Just my regular earbuds hooked up to my phone, or playing white noise on a white noise machine in the background, but it just didn't feel as targeted. It didn't feel focused in my ears. But with the maskers, it's actually in my ear and I don't even feel them. I could have them on all day and just let them do their thing.
And what kind of sounds are the most helpful, the most soothing to you? Typically, we might choose between white noise or pink noise, and then through Bluetooth, you can have infinite kinds of sounds.
Yeah.
Which sounds are the most soothing for you?
It's interesting because my tinnitus changes day to day. I wish it was one of those things where it was just one sound and it was just that simple, but I hear three different sounds most of the time. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to get. But for me, there's one sound that I hear that I liken to sitting in a room of cicadas. That's what it sounds like to me. So often crickets or even cicadas or any type of like jungle noises, birds, that type of thing, it helps to kind of to mask it. The other noises that I hear, one is kind of like a whooshing sound and one is just like a high pitched ring. So for those ones, I most of the time will use waves or ocean or water or something like that to kind of tone it down a little bit. But the crickets are my go to.
It's great to have options. One of the common misconceptions people have about sound therapy is, oh, yeah, I can just use my AirPods or I can just use my earbuds and put them in my ears. And that's sound, it's music, it sounds, pink noise. So I'm doing sound therapy, right? And the biggest difference between those is that they really block your ears. So they block your ear canals, your own voice changes, your tinnitus gets louder, all of the natural ambient sound, which is actually helping your brain with tinnitus perception, is now
Yeah.
blocked off. And suddenly, this isn't working. This isn't actually helpful.
Yeah.
It's just trying to replace one noise with another. Whereas the devices you have in the ear canals, the tinnitus maskers, they have natural holes in that rubber tip in the ear
Yeah.
canals. So they're medical devices designed for living with tinnitus
Yeah.
because you can hear all of the ambient sound around you. Does that explain your experience pretty well?
Yeah. When I had my earbuds in, not only were they painful because I had to keep them in so long, but I almost felt like my tinnitus was fighting with the noise. Like it wanted to be heard. So if I had my earbuds in and I was trying to mask it, it's almost like the tinnitus would try to go louder, or it felt louder to me. And then it blocked everything else out. I couldn't have a conversation. I couldn't talk to anybody. But with the maskers, I can hear the sound therapy, but I can also carry on my day like normal.
We know at Treble Health and as audiologists who specialize in tinnitus that using a sound therapy treatment with the CBT psychological foundations, that is the proven treatment for most cases of tinnitus, right? And if someone who's listening may have not tried those two things in combination consistently, that's most likely what a professional like me would say, hey, that's the obvious area of opportunity here. Maybe just put those experimental alternative things to the side and just commit to this foundational approach. I
Yeah.
know it's not easy. I know it's not fast. I know it might take some of your resources and it might be harder than you hoped, but that's the wisdom that usually we share. And I think your case does touch on that. What other messages do you have for the tinnitus community? You know, many of us here are watching on YouTube. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, please leave a comment saying helpful. If Tamara's story is helping you, write a comment to say helpful. We'll be looking out for those. And Tamara, what other words of wisdom or encouragement do you have for your peers here in the tinnitus community?
It's hard because when you're in it, you just feel so defeated. You feel like the work that you're not getting back what you feel like you're putting in because the process is so slow. But I think you just have to be steadfast, because at the end of the day, what is the alternative? The alternative is your tinnitus is not going to go away. It's not going to get better. You're going to take a much longer time to habituate. So, as slow as it is and as tedious as it is, it's going to happen faster if you just do those two things. You're going to get to the place that you want to get to. Just put the work in. So even if it takes you 12 months or 18 months, it's better than a lifetime. None of us want to live with it. I don't want to be in the place that I am in, but at least I know I'm working towards something. So just stick with it and you'll get there.
Great words of wisdom. Tamara, thank you for sharing your story and for agreeing to be here on the Treble Health podcast. For those of you who want one-on-one personalized support for tinnitus, you can reach out to Treble Health, which is an online telehealth service. Of course, there are also in-person tinnitus specialists that may or may not be in your area. So if you're listening to this, please do seek help if that's available to you. And thank you, Tamara, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For those who may want to follow Tamara's story further, we will keep in touch and hopefully have another podcast episode later down the road. So Tamara, thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for watching today's video with Treble Health. Check out our next video by clicking the button on this screen or another recommended video. And if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.